Okay, so picture this. It's the day of the big game. Everyone you know is hyped, parties are happening, and millions of people are glued to their screens. But you feel, well, nothing. If that sounds familiar, we're about to get into the fascinating psychology behind that feeling. And what it reveals about how your brain is wired is actually pretty powerful. Right? This quote just hits the nail on the head. It's that weird, kind of isolating feeling when this massive cultural event is happening all around you. You can see the excitement, you hear the cheering, but you just can't tap into it. You're not alone in this. And it all comes down to a really distinct psychological trait.
So, first things first, let's get one thing straight. Feeling this way does not mean you're boring. It doesn't mean you're passionless or that you don't know how to have fun. Not at all. In fact, it's a sign of a really unique and, frankly, powerful kind of psychological wiring.
And here it is, the core idea. It's this concept called diversified stimulation. All that really means is that your brain needs a wider variety of inputs to feel genuinely engaged. A single passive thing like watching a game for hours on end, it's just not enough to light up a mind that's hungry for something more. Okay, so we're making a shift here. We're moving away from that vague feeling of being disconnected and toward a clear, solid definition. We're going to put a name to this experience and turn that nagging question mark into a real identity. I mean, this is the big question, right? It's the one you've probably asked yourself as you're scrolling past all the game day posts and memes. If I'm not a fan, then what am I? You are a self-focused thinker. And I want you to hear that not as a flaw, but as an identity. It's a mindset, one that's defined by a totally different pathway to getting that feeling of excitement and fulfillment. So let's build out a profile for this identity. Being a self-focused thinker is all about where you get your excitement from. What triggers that reward system inside your brain and makes you feel a sense of accomplishment. And here's the fundamental difference. For a self-focused thinker, that dopamine rush, that awesome feeling of reward, it doesn't come from watching somebody else score a goal on TV. It comes from your team scoring, and your team is you. The real win is your own progress, your own learning, your own growth. So this creates this really clear split in how different people experience excitement. Let's break down the two core psychological drivers that really separate the fan from the thinker. It's pretty fascinating stuff. Just look at this breakdown. On one side, you've got the fan's brain. It's totally fueled by what's called vicarious emotion, feeling all the highs and lows right along with the players. But on the other side, you've got the thinker's brain. It needs that diversified stimulation we talked about. It finds excitement in real, personal, tangible progress. Now, neither path is better than the other. They're just fundamentally different ways of being wired. So, vicarious emotion. This is a really powerful state. It's the whole reason a fan feels this genuine, heart-pounding joy when their team wins, even though they had zero direct part in it. You can think of it as our brain's ancient social programming kicking in. We're wired to bond with our tribe by sharing in their wins and losses. For a fan, their identity gets all tangled up with the teams, letting them feel those emotions by proxy. Now, in complete contrast, the self-focused thinker often experiences something called existential detachment. This is that what's the point of this feeling that creeps in when you're just passively consuming entertainment. It's what happens when your deep-seated need for diversified stimulation and personal progress just isn't being met. Watching a game for hours can start to feel completely meaningless, like valuable time you could be using to work on your own goal. All right, let's pull all these ideas together. It's time to completely reframe that outsider status and see it for what it really is, a genuine strength. This mindset you have, it's a powerful engine for personal achievement and self-directed growth. So this is you. This is your profile. You're driven by making personal progress. You thrive on varied, diversified stimulation. You feel that disconnect from just passively watching things because your reward system gets its kick from doing, not from watching. And I'll say it again, this isn't a bug, it's your operating system. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important takeaway. Let's reframe the next big game completely. It's not something you have to avoid or feel weird about. It's a gift. It's a huge uninterrupted block of time. So the real question isn't if you'll watch, but what will you build? What will you learn? What will you create with that time? What personal goal are you going to score?